Can Cardano hit 50 cents? Dan Gambardella issues unexpected timeline. Timeline, everybody, October. I don't know what I did. What did I do? Making the headlines now. We're gonna talk about that in this video. I'm gonna lay it all out. And ADA on the weekly, the charts on the macro, they're just lining up right now. And we're going to talk about some fundamentals, not just with the technical analysis aspect of the chart, but things that are happening with Cardano right now. So please hit the subscribe, hit the like on the way in. Let's just jump into the Cardano video. Before we talk about all of these things, I do want to go over this post that Cardano Whale just posted. A buddy just sent this to me. Big, actually. FTSE Cardano 100% staked TR index. Instead of me acting like I know exactly what FTSE Russell is and why this is so big for Cardano, I had ChatGPT give a little assist in that regard. So first, let's just explain. FTSE Russell is a leading global index provider that offers wide range of benchmark data analytics and services for investment management. And while I'm reading this, I want you to keep in mind, think about Ethereum, the institutional interest headlines, Bitcoin for the last year or so, all the hype that's there, even Solana a little bit most recently. Think about those things as I'm reading this. Legitimacy and visibility. FTSE Russell's partnership with digital asset research to create a Cardano-specific index gives Cardano increased visibility and credibility among institutional investors. Being tracked by a prestigious index provider makes it easier for traditional finance players to assess the performance and risk of Cardano as a digital asset. We're going to talk about the charts in this video. I think they're going to really like the performance of the assets in this upcoming bull run. Institutional interest. Having Cardano tracked by a globally recognized index provider opens the doors for more institutional interest. In short, this is a big milestone for Cardano as it positions the asset within a highly regarded financial framework, potentially attracting more serious long-term investments. I said keep in mind Ethereum, Bitcoin, the headlines, Solana, the hype, all of that. And Cardano's like, man, why is it not getting that? I said keep it in mind because this is the story of Cardano. And it's things like this. It's things like the technology and the way the technology has been built. All of these fundamental things, it's like Cardano, it's also things like the charts. Cardano's always kind of this sleeper. And this is one of the things, everybody, this is one of the things that has consistently made me bullish on Cardano. There are things about Cardano that annoy me sometimes, especially even with price action and the way in which it does move. But these are the things that make it very appealing to me as a value investor. It is undervalued right now in the charts. It's a sleeper on the charts. And all while it's a sleeper on the charts and even not getting, I think, the attention it should in terms of the technology itself in the crypto space and the big things that are happening, while it's a sleeper, there's so much noise. There's so much negativity. And the confluence of those two things seems terrible. It seems so bearish, but it's exactly what makes it so bullish. So let's take that, let's pivot into the charts. And actually, I did just come across this article, plays into what I just said. Analyst says that that's often where opportunities lie as Cardano lingers in deep depression phase. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. So this is Ali Martinez. Cardano investors seem deep in the depression phase of the market cycle, negativity high, but that's often where opportunities lie. Selling now might not be ideal. Instead, accumulating ADA during such pessimism could pay off. And it really does. Look at the chart. This is the ADA chart. And really, it looks very similar to last cycle. This is what it is. This is in terms of crypto, and there are many of them that are undervalued, I would say right now. Cardano is one of the big ones. So let's talk about the charts. This is I don't know what I got myself into. There's such a strong possibility that this does not play out. A very strong possibility, but I'm going to give you my thoughts in terms of why I posted what I posted. But it says I am bullish on Cardano, and I predicted the coin will hit 50 cents by the end of October. It's worth noting ADA is 35 cents. So it's 40% away from the level that I said, 50 cents. 40% away by the end of October. Gambardella seems very confident about his forecast, even promising to give 1,000 ADA coins to one of his followers. So this is what I posted on X. This was last night. And I want to break down on the charts what's going through my mind here. And it's just fun. Like I'm just trying to have some fun too in the mix while we're watching all of these charts. And I actually do want to give a shout out to U.Today. Put aside the headline of, what I said, 50 cents by end of October. It's a pretty good article. It goes on to just talk about, it says ADA's current outlook supports Gambardello's bullish stance. It's a positive article about Cardano. Cardano reaching significant milestones, blah, 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 blah. So shout out to them for posting that. But let's dig into the charts. I'm going to start on the weekly briefly, and then we're going to look at the ADA 50-cent move. So here, this is the weekly chart, and I just want to say something. When I look at this, I've been covering crypto, not just Cardano, but I've been covering just cycles, right? And even this last bear cycle, I've been very bullish macro. Even as we're heading into a bear market, I'm just bullish. I have a positive sentiment. But it comes down to these moments now for me on the four-year cycles. It is becoming kind of that make or break moment. We're there. Like this is going to happen or it's not going to happen. And if it doesn't happen, I have to be very real with the content. And I'm not just talking about ADA. We're tracking very similar type of environment for Bitcoin on the zoomed out weekly. If this doesn't happen now, I'm going to have to reevaluate data, and the consistencies of these cycles is changing, obviously. And many people in the industry will have to reevaluate. But the weekly chart right now is lining up very nicely on ADA. And I just want to point out some things to you. I don't think I need to measure the time frame of where we are in the Bitcoin having this cycle compared to last cycle, but we're right around the same moment right here. I believe ADA is still outperforming in terms of how far down it is from all-time highs as it was back here, right? So many similarities there. But what I want to point out to you is things like the RSI and the way in which the RSI is, this momentum oscillator, is trading right now. Even actually, most recently, this RSI getting above that yellow moving average line, just a really nice looking. If you want a macro bull move, this is what the RSI is, what you want it to look like, right? And last cycle, before ADA had its bull move, very similar, like higher lows right here. But I think what's even more bullish right now is the fact that ADA is even lower on this momentum oscillator. For me, this says there's even more room to upside for the parabolic bull run for ADA. So that's the slower moving momentum oscillator. But then you look at, you can kind of get short-term clues on even a zoomed out weekly. And what I mean by that is the stock RSI. So to give you an example, last cycle when ADA broke out right here, notice what the stock RSI was doing. The quicker moving momentum oscillator was hitting overbought prior to the massive macro breakout, right? So it was hitting overbought. We want to see this stock RSI up in this region, and it is. It's a very good pre-bull market move signal for ADA. And then lastly, and maybe most bullishly as we evaluate momentum oscillators, these are my three favorite, is this MACD crossing the signal line. We have some green on the histogram. This could be the very beginning of the macro Cardano move. And so this is very bullish in terms of indicators on the weekly. And here's the beginning of the last parabolic move for ADA, just to give you a sense. So you see where we are, right? Post Bitcoin halving, this move happening, compared to past Bitcoin halving, this move happening. Very similar timeline, very similar sentiment, meaning Cardano's down so much from all-time high, it's failing. So that's all lining up very nicely. Now, in terms of this is the 50-cent post that I made. I want to break it down. And this was another risky post. I've been talking about Bitcoin on its consolidation, that I think Bitcoin's going to break up now. And that's risky. It could absolutely just fall off the cliff. But all these indicators are lining up in very bullish manner. And this is why I'm saying these things. And I want to just say, like, I'll put it out there. If I'm wrong and these things don't happen, then I'll be very upfront with it. I will talk about it, and I'll break down, why it didn't happen. But I want to put it out there a little bit. So the ADA move is me kind of going all in on all of these indicators lining up, even on the daily chart. In my videos, I've been doing so much kind of comparison to the last October move. And it's crazy. This was last October for ADA. And even on something like a Bitcoin chart, if you zoom out on the Bitcoin chart, it was last October when Bitcoin was making its very nice breakout. So such a similar vibe in terms of indicators compared to last October, not to mention what we see in October's. I think I need to refresh this for today, but this is Bitcoin returns in October and just green October, right? That whole thought. So October could be set up to be a very nice month, but I'm looking at a couple of things. First off, the fractal from last October. And what's interesting is you can take that, and let me just show you what I did if I bring it back. It's basically just this move from last October. But what ADA is doing, and this is what I'm counting on, and it actually might not even happen. It could fail very quickly. I will probably know if I'm wrong, like in the next 48 hours. But you can see ADA, looking choppy kind of down here. Finally just made the break above the 20 and the 50 moving averages. There's lines right there. And that was a very big bullish move to end the consolidation that it was in. So for me, this 50 cent thing is me kind of counting on ADA's going to break that those two areas. And that 20-day moving average is around 36 to 37 cents. Very close, as you can see. And then it's counting on going into end of October into November, getting a power move for ADA. Now, this could fail very quickly. If I just remove that so we can see where we are, we're just above the 50-day moving average. The 20-day is the next big moving average that ADA has to break. And the other thing is, if you actually look at this and you go back to the last cycle when ADA made its kind of big breakout, you see a lot of similarities with ADA consolidating around those moving averages, the 50 and the 20, and then finally escaping that area. So we could be in a very similar environment when you start looking at the weekly indicators we just looked at. You start looking at similarities on the daily chart to the last October move, and you just start looking at crypto in general. The move to the upside for crypto could actually happen in Q4, and my 50 cent by end of October forecast really counts on it happening like this starting now. So it might not happen, but the other thing on the short term is this. It's kind of this pattern that I'm watching, and the target out of that pattern is around 50 cents. So it's kind of a combination of what we saw happen when we got the big breakout, and you can just see how unexpected these moves are, right? So people are just like back here thinking, man, this is just so boring. And then all of a sudden, it just explodes. And so this move is very much in play right now. And I want to say, in the face of everything that I'm saying right now, we're talking about this move to the upside. And, I'm so bullish on crypto in general. We could get the break to the downside. And just to give you a sense, the target is like 25 cents, a little lower. The target is incredibly ugly. It's actual revisit to the apex of this massive triangle, this bear market bottom triangle. So maybe I should have led with this to just put this out there and just say, I 100% realize this might not happen. This great short-term move for ADA. And in fact, if crypto goes red this week and there's, the end of this weekly candle for Bitcoin is very important to me as it hovers around this 20-week moving average. But crypto could go red this week. We could start breaking down, and this very bullish headline could look really ridiculous going into this week if we're actually falling. So we're right at the edge either way. And I think a big move is likely going to happen one way or the other. But just know, I'm fully aware that ADA can fall. But I am just having some fun with kind of the shorter term charts right now, just because it's been grueling. Like, I'm a macro investor. I'm a macro person. That's why most of my videos are very macro minded. I'm zooming out on Bitcoin. I'm zooming out on ADA charts. But sometimes it's fun just to kind of really get speculative on the short term, have some fun with it. And that's what this is, everybody. It might not happen. This is just the way that I'm seeing the charts. This is what I'm watching. And it gives us something to really kind of have some fun with for the next 19 days or so. Is that, I think, around how many days are left in October. So these are my thoughts. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I hope you're having a good start to your weekend. Hit the subscribe, hit the like. I'll see you in the next video. God bless.